Okay, cool.
He's like, have her.
Probably.
What is going on? Welcome to episode number 12 of For the Record podcast. I'm your host, Ronnie, and I've got here...
Mark Phinney.
Hey!
Yay! We secured one mark. We tried for two, got one.
You officially have as many listeners as guests on your podcast, so that's great.
And that's a plus. In my world, that's a plus. So,
Yeah,
and also Danielle's here. And with a little new set decor. Put that white camera on. Let's
Between
see
two ferns.
Let's see that. Between two ferns. Phinney, Danielle. We got Jill's picture back there. Again, this picture is one of my most favorite pictures. I just love it.
I love how you have it printed in your own office.
I know, right? And I love it. It was like it's on my website. It's on our wall, and I was like, okay, we're gonna incorporate this in today. So this is new set decor because Mr. Phinney's here. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you. And you know what? I like the picture because I think it really speaks to who you are, Ronnie. You've merged your love of music and weddings, and you know that's kind of a good. And you're always there for a good time.
Okay, I paid him to say that. So
He did.
Now that $20 is up, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, Mondays are a bit hectic for me in my other job, and so yeah, my brain's going a million miles an hour, but coffee will help, and yeah.
I should have bought beer. Now I'm thinking about it.
It's all good.
We should have set up some alcohol in here to loosen things up.
I was going to have a Red Bull, but that would have been a train wreck because I would have been speaking really fast.
I'm super nervous.
Yeah.
So it only took 11 episodes of us name calling both the marks.
And we got one.
You guys got the low budget Mark. I remember the first time I met the other Mark. I was actually at the pool in Elkhorn, and he was shirtless, dreamy,
right?
And I'm just like, okay, I see what it's all about. Anyway,
so then you took off your shirt.
Yeah.
Took off his shirt.
And you guys eyed each other.
No, he's
and
actually.
That was that. Haven't talked since.
Yeah. Mark versus Mark. And then both of them just perfectly paired up to each other.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're equals. We got to go.
I wish he was here, but yeah.
But no, thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it. Again, as I said, like me and Danielle only been name dropping both of you since episode 1.
I think this will only increase our listeners. You know?
Again, 100%.
We started it with 5.
Look at this guy. Look at this. Just the looks alone will add like 10 more.
10 more. 10 more.
So
I'm no Silas. Shout out to the cameraman.
Yeah.
Silas has a face for radio.
There's perfectly got a face for radio. So today, basically, episode is going to be our final episode of season 1. What we decided, Mark, was we're going to go over, before wedding season hits, we're gonna end it here and then continue back once wedding season's done.
Good call.
So you're our finale episode.
The closer.
Closer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we didn't tell him anything about the days. You just said, show up and we'll figure it out.
I thought we were here to talk about my new Ninja air fryer and how amazing grilled cheeses are. But
I thought you were going to talk about your pizza oven
and my pizza oven. And I got a pellet grill. Everything's been the whole pandemic. I've been just doing nothing but eating and
this
cooking.
Is an adult podcast when
I know. But if I look back in the past 6 weeks, I've received how many Snapchats of pizza I've received from Mark has been like astronomical.
Yeah, guilty.
Okay, we bought a Dyson vacuum and I bought a motion sensor garbage can.
Ooh.
I am so excited about the both of them.
You hit a certain age and then vacuums and garbage cans and pizza ovens. Yeah, it's like
air
your jam.
fryers and humidifiers. Yeah.
Yeah, so excited about it.
I know like some people go to the gym like twice a day. They're like, oh, I'm on the 2-a-day program. I've been doing 2 pizzas a day. So catch me outside. How about that?
Listen, I have a gym membership for the past 8 months. I've stepped into the gym once.
That's like me and my Peloton. That's the same relationship. Mark was like, I'm pretty sure it'll be a clothes hanger. And I'm like, no, I'm going to use it. Used it once. Yeah.
I've been hitting up the spin classes at Good Life. And so I'm enjoying that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I should move my membership to another gym that I'm not going to go to. So because my current gym membership is YMCA, so which is far away from where I am.
You really need to just support whatever we're considering. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
local support. You got to support the local places. But again, today's episode, we just want to talk about just stories because we're all in the wedding industry. We all started at some level.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle did her first solo wedding with one of your clients and your cameras.
Yeah,
and so we want to go over that and just your history into wedding industry. Well, photography first, and then wedding industry after. So, I think that's where we're gonna go.
I think and just like for people on the IG or the FB or whatever social media
Whatever
platform.
you listen to this to.
Well, I don't know. I am not technical. We know.
the old
we know.
TikTok.
I'm from the farm. We all know that. But you'll recognize Mark's work. It's the portrait stuff that's like breathtaking. No one else does it around here. The way he does it, the portrait stuff is stunning.
You're too kind. The one thing I do appreciate about the whole Brandon community, if you will, is everybody has their own really unique style. Like,
100%.
Your style, Danielle, it's like very like clean and sort of cutting edge. And
I literally last week to Ronnie was like, I don't know. I don't have like a style.
No, I told her she had one.
Yeah, I was like, do I?
Oh yeah. I can go through, like, if I'm just, sort of browsing through social media, I can be like, oh, that's a beautiful photo by Mark Willis, or that's a picture by Mandy, or that's a picture. You can I can pick it out for sure.
Okay, I can do that too.
See,
yeah,
and by looking at it, and we all know, looking at one of Phinney's photos, it's Phinney's photos because there's no, it's I guess, lack of a better term, it is very candid in a sense. It's while it's happening, like they're not posing, you're not telling them, like the photos that come out.
I feel like your photos have secrets.
Hi-oh.
No, but like,
the one thing I know about my photos is I try not to go too heavy on Photoshop, especially with like, body shaping and stuff. Some of that can get just out of control, and then you start morphing the image into someone that isn't a real person. But I make sure everybody has good skin in all of my photos because I had zits in high school. And I ripped up every picture of me. So now it's like, if you get anything done by me, I will painstakingly edit every single wedding photo to make sure that, especially the brides, that they look dialed, because it's important.
It 100%. Is. No, 100%.
But going back, how did you get started into photography?
That is a question. Is this actually about me?
It is.
Okay, I've actually thought about how this whole process started because it was very organic and it kind of snuck up on me, if you will. It seems like another life ago, but before I had my first son, so I have two kids, but before I had Josh, I was actually an artist, if you will. So I painted and I drew, and I was kind of like that sort of guy. Like,
I've actually seen those too.
A weirdo.
But I was the weirdo too.
No, we call it art. We call it artiste.
Did the oil painting in school and everything.
Yeah, and that was definitely my first passion and labor of love. And then, just with having a kid, and I started having less free time to really pour myself into that. And I didn't really have the first clue about what I was supposed to do with this whole new baby thing. And I remember my
warm little football.
Yeah, warm little football. Don't drop them. And my wife bought a camera. Actually, we figured, let's, get a decent camera. And then I started being like, I'll just take pictures of my kid. And so I started taking pictures of my own family first. And I think that's how a lot of people start in this whole racket. And then people started asking me if I'd take pictures of their family. And then it kind of went from that to fast forward a few years later. And a girl I knew was getting married, and she said, "Hey, I know you take nice pictures. Would you be interested in taking my wedding pictures?" And I immediately said, "Not a chance." I think there's a lot of fear and anxiety in photographers about shooting weddings. And
that's how I was with you. You're like, "Oh, you can do it." I'm like, "I don't think I can." You're like, "I'm pretty sure you can."
You definitely can. But it's real. And you know what? It still is there for me. Like, there's moments where the night before a wedding, I kind of go, and you kind of have moments of just nervousness because it's such an important day and so many things can go wrong. And the last thing you want to do is not capture a really beautiful moment or something. Right. So the idea of doing weddings completely scared me, and I said no. And then she said, "Hey, it's a small town wedding. We don't really care if, just do your thing." And so she kind of talked me into it. Shout out to Stephanie. And it was a perfect wedding. It was just like a real fun, chill, small town crowd. And then from that, I got another one, and then it kind of went from there.
So Mark Jeffries Photography. That's still the name, or is it Phinney Photography? Or is
well, like I always thought like Phinney Photography sounded kind of goofy.
I love it.
You know,
I like it. I like your last name.
I don't know. Yeah, but I just went with my middle name. So I just went like Mark Jeffrey. And then I don't really advertise or do a whole lot. I just kind of, people just message me. They find me. And then
yeah. If you build it, they will come.
If you give brides good skin in every picture, they will come. Right?
You know, it's really funny. Something stuck with me, and it was like the first time I met you, and I was like, yeah, I need like a backup camera or whatever. And you're like, yeah, got it. Come get it. Two things. It definitely gave you poison ivy.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I like sanitize his cameras, but I have poison ivy all over my face.
Crawling around.
You took a picture a week later and you had a piece of poison ivy, and you know, I was like, oh no, that's me. I'm so sorry. You'll never talk to me again. And you were just super chill about it.
Oh yes. Fine.
But you said to me, I could, I'm not going to phrase this quite right, but maybe you can help me out here. You said, I don't watermark anything. I don't really advertise, and I'm still really busy. And that's how I enjoy what it is that I do, because I don't put a lot of effort into chasing it. Right?
Yeah. And like,
and it was that, like, I don't know how to term, like, and it's always stuck with me. And like, I try to be like that as well. Like, and you're like, I don't have a website. I just don't, you know, I do what I love, and that's that. What's
the thought process behind doing that? I guess
I feel like sometimes when people, I don't want to offend, I don't want to offend anyone, because everyone has their own sort of strategies for marketing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel sometimes it's like can be a bit cringy when it's like people are constantly trying to just like, share, follow, you know what I mean? And it just, after a while, it's like, I feel like if you really make it all about the client first, and you just do your absolute best, and you kind of over deliver, which I know is kind of something you've picked up along the way from, you know, working with Mark Willis, and just your own sort of farm girl work ethic that's unparalleled. But it's like, if that's how you approach every situation, is just to like work your butt off and do the absolute best that you can, the clients you'll be turning people away. And so that's how I've kind of rolled with it. I mean, I have the luxury of having another job, and so this is just kind of a little side hustle. So maybe I would be more pressured to do the old like, follow, share, blah 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 thing if I kind of needed the work a little more. But
yeah, and like you said, I even know with myself, like, I've done so much lately and haven't posted any of it. Like, last post I did, I feel like was when we were doing our giveaway, when I was, trying to make the most of it. But yeah, like, if the work's there, then if you advertise too much, your inbox is too full.
And that's the thing too, right? Because one, you get to pick and choose the type of client you want to work with. And then this is no way to say not every client, like, there's a style of client, because we all have that, right?
Yeah.
There's a specific client with a specific taste and personality that works with us. And again, every photographer has that too.
Yeah. Everyone has someone different.
And that's the style too. So you get to attract that kind of couples a lot more than, you know, just trying to just blanket it, you know, say, hey, like, I'm a photographer. I want a wedding. If you want a wedding, if wedding photos done, then I'm here, right? So,
and like, honestly, I admire people that brand themselves well. I guess it's just never been my jam. But that being said, if I'm being totally honest, if there's any up and coming photographers out there, I've also found that it's worked as a bit of a marketing strategy too, because you know, I've had brides kind of like think they sort of discovered me or found me, like, hey, like, I'm not sure if you do weddings, but like I saw you, you know, and they kind of come to you sort of thinking like,
I remember you saying that people love to discover people.
Yeah, they love to discover people, and they feel like they've kind of found like this hidden gem. Meanwhile, like, my stuff is plastered everywhere, but it's like, you know, by keeping it a little more low key, I think I don't know, it's your little maybe more exclusive
it's
or whatever.
I don't know, but I just remember we were standing at the back of my car, and I remember just like thinking like you're so humble. Like, I like that. Not that I wouldn't say that I try to be that way too with everything, because I mean, the minute I'm not, I fall down the stairs or like slip at the front door, or like something stupid happens to me. But no, I just like that, because you don't see that a lot nowadays, right? Of people that are just like, I'm me. Choose me if you want.
I think that goes back to just the natural insecurity that comes with being an artist first. Like I've been very fortunate and I've shot weddings. I even feel like weird saying this, but I've actually shot weddings all over the world. And I suffer from imposter syndrome all the time because you're just like, still to this day, no matter who it is, if someone asks me to photograph their wedding, I literally step back and I feel completely humbled. And I feel like, wow, they're asking me to view their wedding day through my eyes. One of the most important days for some of these girls, they've dreamed about it, since they're old, right? Yeah. And then you're like, they're going to trust my eyes to be the one that's going to capture and I just feel flattered every time. And that's never left. So 100%. Maybe that's a good thing.
So your first wedding, when was that? What year are we talking about?
I think it was around 2014 and then I did, and that was the low key Steph wedding, smalls. It was a super fun wedding. It was in Minto, and it was like the whole town was there, and I instantly got hooked because I went into this like community center, and it wasn't your regular wedding in the sense that the small town weddings are hidden gems. Everyone has grown up together. Every single and like
good content by accident.
These people have known each other since they were
like someone's swinging from the rafters, and the other person's dancing in the wrong way in the corner.
Yeah, and there's you can literally feel the love in the room because everybody has known each other. So it's not like one of those weddings where, the bride and groom don't even know half the guests or whatever. Like it's just like and so I loved it. And it was like such a great crowd. Everyone was really fun. I ended up, I think I was the unofficial Minto wedding photographer for a while there. I was kind of like, once you get in with some of the
friends, you do one and it's like, boom, 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 boom. You've done them all. And it's actually kind of nice because what happens is you get their repeated bridal party. So they like when you shout out the men, they actually listen. Yeah. They're like, okay, Danielle, fine. Because you've like seen them when it like every third weekend.
Pretty much.
Yeah. They know you by name and give you a hug and I like the small town.
We've done the same for, again, from the DJ side of things, right? So like it was one wedding, funny enough, Jill was in the wedding party that I did very first wedding. And then literally the entire wedding party, 5 guys and 4 different girls. Like we did all the weddings for them. It was just fun because everybody stood up with each other and it was just you knew what their song was and you knew what their dance was. It was just pretty cool. No, I get it.
It is cool. And like I really love the fact, and I think both of you have experienced this, like you end up almost being certain people's unofficial photographer, right? Like you'll do their wedding and then then like a year later maternity pictures and then you're doing like family photos and like I don't know, you end up really being a part of these people's lives. Like I've heard the
next thing you know, like 25 years later, it's all your photos hanging in their house, right? From the wedding to grandkids, I love that.
Right? That's like my favorite thing. Yeah,
I know. I had some people. I did their wedding down in like Alabama actually, and then they moved to BC, and I reconnected with them, and I saw a picture from inside their house, and there's a big picture from their wedding that I took, and I remember Leah. Remember we in Mexico went to their house. There's a whole wall of photos, and it's like I don't know. To me, that's really special. And
100%. And talking about Leah and Kyle's wedding, like that was the first time me and Phinney went out.
Yeah, I remember that. I did her eyebrows. I feel like I was a part of it.
You were a part of it, and the eyebrows were on point. So beautiful.
The McLeods, for example, like. So I did was Kristen and Kelsey's wedding. Kelsey and McLeod. Yep. And then Kayla was getting married in Carberry. And then so we were supposed to do that in I think April was her wedding, Kayla and Dustin's. And then between Leah and Kyle were getting married in Mexico. So we got to go there and then she was like, Phinney's coming too. And then I was like, this is gonna be fun. So I was there less than these guys were there, but the 4 or 5 days I was there was just absolutely
it was a good time.
It was a good time.
Yeah, there were lots of Arnold Palmer's consumed let's talk about this wedding from what I remember.
What I remember is right.
It was like I don't know. It was a fun group. Right. Everyone was awesome. Like there was like Warren and Morgan. Like there were so many good people there.
So many people. And again, Morgan and Warren. Yeah. From that wedding.
And then like at the end of the night, Ronnie was like DJ Ronnie again. So
okay, listen. I was there purely just to video the wedding. It was so much fun. Like we had the best time. But the wedding day happened. So the day before his rehearsal, the wedding day happens. The wedding day was an absolute blast. I was at that point at a very peak where I was done with flatlands and paddy fields and everything,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, I need a different scenery. And then Mexico happened. So we're like capturing like turquoise blue water, like on a catamaran, like jumping on. It's still the best time ever.
It was so good.
There's photos, there's videos. Oh, there's me, Kayla, and Mark in a golf cart. Oh no, me, Aaron Poole.
Yeah.
Me, Aaron Poole, and Mark in a golf cart, literally ripping through Harris.
Isles de Muras. Yeah.
That one. Ripping through just
Oh,
going,
yeah.
ole, ole. It was the best time. But so that night, wedding night happens. So wedding day, receptions happen. We're all done for videos and photos. I'm like, I'm capturing parties. Now, the DJ they had there was great. Dude knew this music. He's done this before. But I'm like, we need that little sauce of Manitoba in there. So I was like, it was the last half hour. I'm like, you know what? Let me do this. I said, give me 4 songs. I'm gonna get there because it was the mezcal tequila shots before that
Oh my
got me there.
gosh, yeah.
So we walk to the bar, like because we're videoing,
Yeah.
And then there's Kelsey. Everybody's like Morgan was the one, like not Morgan. So Warren was the one that just literally lines up shots, and like everybody's taking one. So after the shots, I'm like, go up to the dude, let me spin like 3 songs. I got 3 songs. He's like, cool, go for it. So I knew the system. The only thing, everything was in Spanish, but thank God I knew the software. So
Yeah, it was like your old setup.
Thank God I knew
Right?
Spanish. It's like, I don't think that's ever
everything
been
was
said.
Spanish, but I just knew the songs and I know the software, so it worked out. So typing in, threw it on. Oh, the dance was bumping. So I'm like fishing in the dark on. And I take my camera and run to the dance floor to capture the party going, come back before the song's done.
I loved it.
And the next song. And then after 3 songs, I'm like, dude, I'm done. He's like, no, finish it. We only got 20 more minutes.
He's
So
like,
I
I'm going to go
literally
take a
ran the party.
nap.
I literally ran the party for the rest of the night and ended with Don't Stop Believing. And it was a good night. It was a good time. And yeah, so that one was pull it, make it bigger. So yeah, that was Leah and Kyle's photos. That was a good time.
Ooh, Kyle.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it was such a
that
good time.
photo. One of my favorite photos right there. It's just I was there when he posed them for that. Oh, it was so good.
Look at those eyebrows.
Those eyebrows are on point.
Those are natural. Those are
Danielle,
natural.
eyebrows.
No,
That last picture, the
it's
last
her own
picture.
eyebrows. She's not. All I did was wax them, you guys.
Oh, that's
all I did
awesome.
was wax them.
No,
That last picture, sorry, but like it kind of looks like a bit of a drone shot, and I know that's
we were on top of.
I risked my life,
Like,
you know. You're all
literally.
You're just like,
So
I'll just
the
climb out on
balcony
this
is there.
cliff
Yeah.
here.
That's the railing. He went on top of the railing, stood right outside of it, and took the photo. I was like,
Okay,
"You're
I love
crazy."
it. I love it.
And it's not good for me to do stuff like that because I always forget what I'm doing, and there's a chance that I'll just walk off the balcony. But it was a great time.
But like, look, to me, I like you're describing this party. I did not go to this wedding, but then I see it in the pictures. I love it. It's
was a
done well.
phenomenal time. It was a
Amazing.
phenomenal time.
I also have to mention a wedding you shot. Was it? It's the Rivers Crew. Okay, this is how like I heard about you before I knew you. Was one of the moms was my EA of one of the boys that was in the bridal party and shows me this picture of her son. Like she's like, oh yeah, I have 2 sons. I'm like, yeah, cool. Shows me EA and shows me this picture, and it just stopped me, blown away. I was like, okay, lady, not interested in your sons. And I was like, holy shit, he's got nice abs.
Oh yes, I know what we're talking
No,
about.
but it was done so well. I was like, hairy chest, but really nice abs. Jaden Tate, you know who you are.
Yeah.
there was a whole
Shout out
bunch,
to
but
Jaden.
I probably had a mullet too at the time and wasn't sure, but I was like, oh wow. And then I started looking I started tracing across like the whole entire photo. I was like, they're all ripped. What? Like who gets this bridal party? Like where are these? Are these the Chippendales? And then Shauna, like she's sitting there laughing and smiling, and I'm staring like I am reversed in photography, but I'm still like, where did the Chippendales come from? And she's like, no. He did that with Photoshop. And I'm still staring at it thinking to myself, what? This is so well done.
Well, okay, about that.
Yeah. I think that is hilarious.
Actually, I'm doing Jaden's brother's wedding this summer.
Yeah. Josh.
I'm actually, I want to do it because they're cool, but also because I seriously love that Rivers crew.
Oh yeah,
like that's like the Gills, like Tyler and Laura and stuff, and
that was their wedding.
And like I felt that was a huge destination wedding. I think they had 90 people there or something, which is big for a Mexico wedding. It was actually the same resort as Leah's. Yeah, it was and like such a good crew. Like I remember feeling almost a bit of like jealousy because I remember thinking like, I wish that I lived in Rivers and knew all these people because it was like they're a super tight friend group, you know, like they.
I shot the brothers, right? Yeah. I haven't posted any photos, but same thing. They're just wild.
They're like
wild.
Rivers is a sweet little. There's a good crew of people there. But anyway, so what happened was all the guys were like kind of dancing and just having a good time. Many beverages were consumed.
Like this is how I knew we'd get along when I saw this photo. I was like, what?
Well, and so I guess I don't want to. I guess Danielle already let it out of the bag that these poor guys were photoshopped here. But
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
let's find this photo.
And all I remember, I saw Laura, and she was asking one of the guys. She's like, let's get all the groomsmen to take their shirt off because you know they had suspender, you know that Chippendale vibes. Yeah. And she's like, and we'll basically have a picture of me with all these hot shirtless guys. And like, I saw the look on this one guy's face that she was asking. I'm not going to say who it was. He looked utterly terrified. Like he was just like, nope, I don't want to take my shirt off. And, you know, I could tell he looked like he wasn't feeling it. And I'm standing there with the camera and she's like pressuring them, you know?
Oh yeah. And I'm sure like when she's drinking, she's hilarious.
Oh yeah. The best ever. And so I ended up pulling him aside and I was like, hey man,
I got you, buddy.
I'm like, in the same way that I won't let a girl have bad skin in a picture, I'm like, I'll make sure you guys are dialed after. And then he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I'm like, if you want abs, I'll give you abs. I'll Photoshop some abs in there. So then all the guys kind of came up to me and quickly checked. They're like, hey man, you give me abs. And so anyway, they took their shirts off and
they're like, what are they dancing on a table or something?
Something like that.
They're dancing on a table, shirtless, all the groomsmen.
And it became a challenge to me because I was like, you know what? I need to make this super believable. So I think it was a pass. Like I think I was
because I was like, no, I was looking at these photos. I was like, how many good-looking guys can you like put in one picture? Right? This isn't even fair. This wedding party.
Christ. And like I remember doing that too because I did it at the hotel, like at the resort the next morning. Sort of, you know, let's be honest. I was hungover and I wanted to get a sneak peek out and I knew it'd be funny and I knew the guys would be waiting for this like ab picture. So
if
here
I remembered it. The best part is they probably actually didn't remember it at all.
Well, so there I was. I'm at this resort and I'm on Google and I'm trying to find some stock imagery to overlay on their stomachs. Yeah. So I'm like Googling 6-pack abs.
And then you said I Googled hairy 6-pack abs.
Hairy 6-pack abs. Whatever you got to make it believable. And then I did the photoshops and all these guys. You couldn't really tell. Released the picture.
Phenomenal.
And like all the guys the next morning, they're just like giving me the like, thank you. And it's like, I got you. So I hope someone pays it forward for me someday, you know?
Oh, nobody has to pay it forward. This dude, like what's your history with physical fitness? Because I know.
Yeah, don't you do the triathlon?
Like decathlon or something, like you swam Alcatraz with the whales or sharks. That's the story I've heard.
Well, okay. Before we go on to that, I would like to say shout out to my mother-in-law. So in the same way that I try to take flattering pictures of people, if you could ever find the worst photographer, it's my mother-in-law. And she will just post like if you were ever, even if you're in good shape, even if you're you know whatever,
it doesn't matter.
She will find she posted a picture of me in Clear Lake. I don't know what I was doing, but like it is like if you try to take a bad picture, that's what it was, and then she just posts it. You know, doesn't you know? Maybe some people should leave photography too.
What's your mother-in-law's name?
Her name is Ruth. And they moved out to BC and they're moving back. Huge mistake.
Phinney's photos, just so I can feel better. Ruth, hook us up with some bad Phinney photos because we've never seen them. But yeah, let's talk about the decathlon.
I used to be a triathlete.
Triathlon, that one.
Triathlete, yes.
So many athletes.
Yeah.
You guys combined are more athletes than I ever will be in the rest of my fucking 30 years I'm gonna live.
Dude.
Not me anymore. No. I used to be so into sports and like used to run like 24K a day.
Yeah, see?
Now
I've never ran 24K in my life.
Yeah.
Cumulatively.
24K a day, she says.
A
I've
big
never
day
ran
for
24.
me would be dusting the Peloton,
Oh
maybe
my
giving it a wipe,
God.
talking to it. That's about it.
Honestly though, don't beat yourself up. It's having a family. You get pulled in different directions. Like I did like 35 triathlons. It was a big part of my life. I had a coach and
Christ.
And I mean, honestly, I tried keeping it going when my last coached program was 22 hours a week of training. And so it was like, as soon as I had a kid,
half-time job.
yeah, and it really is like it was like a whole other job because just between like you have to eat a lot and you have to all the like
that I
could
still
do
do.
that.
Yeah, that I still
kept
do.
that. I kept that. Like air fryer now, but yeah. So I really loved that, and it was a big part of my life for a long time. I tend, in case you haven't noticed, I tend to let stuff get out of balance in my life. I double down and I just go all in on stuff, and I definitely did that with photography too. But that's
you're gonna say the pizza,
and now it's pizza. No,
oven.
you know what, Danielle? Legit, I can't even do anything without going too much into it. So the pizza,
yeah,
I've got it dialed
yeah.
right now. Like it's taken me a while, but like it is legit the best pizza. And here's where I become extra. I immediately was on Amazon and I have ordered, and they're en route pizza boxes. And it's like,
I'm getting a pizza delivery
Did
soon.
you put your own label on it? Are you gonna do a stamp?
I'm already thinking about it. I'm already thinking.
Oh, wait. What do you have for names?
I don't know, like dirty slice. I'll figure something out, but it's like
come up with some names here.
Big Magic?
I don't know, but like
Phinney sauce.
but I'm excited. Like I'm excited to like give these pizzas to people and be like, huh? And I'll just sit there and watch you eat them and be like, huh?
What do you think?
No, you know what's funny is like I think I've said this a lot to my friends, or even conversations you and I have every once in a while. Every couple of months we dive deep into what is life.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're passionate about something, I like, sometimes I do something or do photography and I leave and they're like, oh, how much do we owe you? And I'm like, nothing. And you're like, what do you mean nothing? And I literally like, okay, if you are doing Santa photos with Shane being Santa and me being the photographer for friends, and they're like, well, what do you mean nothing? I'm like, well, if you pay me, it kills it for me.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
I don't have any passions right now that are left unpaid. So sometimes when I want to do something, I want to do it as a gift or I want to just have fun with it,
And,
don't pay me.
I've always gone by the sort of notion that people can have multiple passions. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not just one thing that you got. Like people try to box you into, oh, this is who this person is and this is who that person is.
I think I beat myself up with trying to fit into the box.
And that's the problem, right? Like we are allowed to have what we like to have, like 100%.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things this world has that I personally think that we don't even have experience by the time we die, that we don't even know what we truly love,
But it's funny, like you're on that business, music, video, you're on pizza, eating, just joking. No, but
air fryer, grilled cheese.
yeah,
Like,
it's just all food. But photography, like the art portion.
Both of you, for that fact,
and I've got my
firefighter, dirt bikes, and brows and teaching.
Ridiculous.
And
Yeah, Danielle's one of those
like crazy.
unicorns.
And
do you just think like if you know how some people in their brain, like some people are good at multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't Pinterest this. I don't know what I'm talking about, so don't reference this at all. But do you think when some people are artistic, it just is like a whole part of the personality that branches into so many things?
I think
100%,
so.
100%.
I agree with like I am a passionate person. I think Danielle, Ron, you guys are. You have to be to keep up this pace, and because it's a lot of work doing all this stuff, But I know for me, I'm always attracted to things that are a little bit scary. If I feel like, oh, it's a challenge, can I do this? Will I pull this off? If I have that apprehension about it, I find myself drawn to it.
And
like,
I think that's the outside voice too. Oh, what will people think about this? What are other people gonna like? It's always the what are people gonna think about it? That sort of sort of puts us off rather than trying it or doing more. Because I think in a sense that we always, people have to see it, right? That's the artistic thing in us. It's like what we're creating. We want people to see it, and we don't want it. We don't anything else. We just want people to see it. Like, hey, I put some thought, blood, sweat, and tears into this. Tell me what you think, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Put that, and that takes a sense of vulnerability to put yourself out there to take that criticism, positive or negative, in there. And sometimes we can't take that negative criticism, so we're just like, let's not.
We're all
not
fragile
that,
ego.
right?
Yeah, that's the way we roll.
I think we should mention, if you're going to insult me, just know I'll cry.
Yeah.
Like, I totally will.
So like
we're the same person, Danielle. Like our hearts are on our sleeves, and it's like, please don't hurt me. But
I hope you love this if you don't.
And that's honestly the hard part of being an artist and a creative person in general, right? Is when you do something and you're like, okay, I'm going to show this to the world, but wait, should I? Like, what do I get back?
It's crazy. Okay, let's talk about something quickly, off topic as per usual. Without doing anything that you do now, like none of your hobbies, jobs, or whatever, if you had to be an influencer, what kind of influencer and what would you want to influence? So mine, here, I'll start the ball to give you an example. I've been thinking a lot about this. So I had baby B, like I've had Blakely now for 13 months, like a year, and people call it the baby blues, the postpartum baby blues. And I'm like, yeah, cool. That sounds like you just cry a little bit and that's that. Like, what is why do we call it that? It makes me so mad. No one talks about how you're actually stinky for like 2 weeks.
you haven't slept.
No, you haven't slept. The hormone crash, like it's not a baby blue. It's like your body hormone crashing.
And you're recovering from
pushing another life out of you.
Yeah, and like
Right.
you know what's funny? The mom guilt. Like if I could be an influencer, if I had time to like talk about things raw and just like I'm not talking about even follower accounts, nothing like that. I'm talking about if you could just something that interests you or how you could make a change, what would you do? Mine would be talking more about first time moms, like that first 3 months. That's what I pour all my energy into, just cause.
And since nobody would know, like not a lot of people have experience with it too. So that that is something that like where you were like, wow, people go through a lot of things and you need to know it, right?
And I have like a running document on my phone when someone's like, do you have a suggestion? I'm like, oh wait, this is 52 pages. Here you go. But one of the things that's like, you know what? No one knows what they're doing.
Right.
Like get off the internet, put your phone down. Like,
yeah. And then you get those annoying moms that are like super organized. Like, you know, and it's
that
like,
with your kid. Trust me. I did this with my kid and it worked. Oh my God.
Okay, cool. Okay. What would you do, Ronnie?
If I have to influence on anything what
do you want to, like, I don't even know if that's the right word, but
honestly, like making people try different cuisines. Like there's I come from literally 2 different backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Or one background and then I living in another one. I married another one. So 3 different backgrounds in terms of cuisines of what we go. And I love food for what it is and how it generally just from a simple pizza, like you think pizza is simple, but you can go down the rabbit hole of pizza itself and how, you know, this dough, how much you let it ferment and like from there process the sourdough. Like there's so much that goes into pizza and the temperature of like so many that applies to every food on the planet Earth. Now think about it. Like there's so much food you've never tried in your life.
I'm not like cultured.
Like forget being cultured too, just the curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Like curiosity to let me try something new, right?
Yeah.
Like how many times have we gone like, oh, what do we eat for dinner today? But like, how about let's pick a place that I've never been to.
Right?
Yeah.
And then just go. Like order it, just get it, see what.
Or like spin the globe and then we're having Ethiopian today. You know what I mean?
Like just like and people in places who have like we're in Brandon, Manitoba, but like people in cities who have that option still be like, you know what? Applebee's. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Just like I understand Applebee's, but choose something different.
All right.
So I think I would definitely say food and making people try different things.
Anthony Bourdain.
Food. You?
Let me quickly tell you a story about food.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like I will try anything. I'm open-minded with that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I met this guy years ago. I was in Winnipeg. I was going to school. And he was from Arvia at Nunavut, still friends with him to this day. And he was having some culture shock because he was literally from a hunter background. And here he is transplanted into the middle of this big city, Winnipeg. So I was kind of chatty. He was a really quiet guy. And so I saw that he was walking home. He lived kind of downtown Winnipeg. And I'm like, hey, man, I'll give you a ride. So I gave him a ride. And I didn't really know him that well. He just seemed like a nice guy. So we were talking about Nunavut. And then he's like, a man of few words, but he was like, come meet my wife, Kukik. You will eat like a man. And I'm like, hey.
Wait. You're telling me I've never eaten like a man before in my life?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm down. So he lived in this apartment on like Portage Avenue.
Right.
So we're walking by all this long hallway and every door had a different smell. You know, you'd be like, oh, curry.
Yeah.
And then whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then I get to his door and we're like, oh, I've never smelled this before. So I just kind of walk in, meet his lovely wife. And then he's like, starts bringing out food. So the first thing he brought out, blubber.
Yes.
And it was like, I had no idea. Like it literally, out of his freezer, he pulled out half a chunk of a whale, pulls out one of those ulus or whatever, slices off a chunk. So now I'm eating blubber and it's pretty gross. And when you sweat the next day, you smell like a weird fish sort of thing. So anyway, then we did Arctic char. It's a fish raw. We like whatever, but you don't just eat the fish. He takes his finger, pokes out the eyeball. So you eat the eye, and then he's like, "This
Did
is."
you do it?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm down. I did the other eye, and then you take your finger, you stick it in the eye socket, you pull out this like what I don't even know. He thought it tasted like ice cream. I did that. Then we did like fermented walrus. I just did it all. And I did it all for this moment so I could say I did. But no,
The story needs to be told. I felt like you sacrificed yourself.
When was this?
This was like I don't know, man, like 20 years ago.
Jesus.
But
this is
beauty of a
dude
guy.
from Nunavut.
RV at Nunavut, yeah.
Oh
I
my
still,
God.
yeah.
See, like,
That's
and that's the
amazing.
thing.
I love it.
Dude's Canadian, and you had no idea.
No
that
idea.
shit was gonna be edible, and now here you are enjoying,
Talking
enjoying.
about
It was cool though. Like
Back.
I actually like I mean, I've done, we've all done different cuisines if you traveled a little bit or whatever, but like that is next level. Like if you have like, I had swordfish, whatever.
Right.
Try some blubber.
No, see, and that's why I'm like, people like it's something that's possible, something that you just choose to, right? It's like it's like picking. It's not even, you don't even have to travel. Like order something from somewhere that you've never ordered before, and then try that for dinner, and you're like, okay, that was good.
And Brandon's actually getting a lot more multicultural. Like there's some like
ease up on the pizza joints. Like the other day I counted, and we had 33 pizza joints in
34. Mark's Garage.
That's what it should be.
Mark's
Garage.
Yeah.
Mark's Garage Pizza.
It's not a bad plan.
A wrench in time.
Yeah. But yeah,
What would you do?
What would you do?
Oh, man.
Okay.
Influencer marketing.
I like it. Yeah, this is like if money wasn't a thing and you had to do it.
You know what? I'm passionate about mental health, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
No, and I think I would pursue that in some fashion. I actually have a bit of a project that I want to work on. That I was thinking about, and I might kind of move in that direction, but I guess I can explain it, but I haven't told anyone yet. But
Sure.
Yeah.
For the Record podcast is actually revealing the new project here. It is breaking news here on For the Record.
Breaking news, and now I'll feel like I'll feel like I actually have to do it. But like,
hashtag pressure.
I've been thinking about. I know some people, and I have some contacts in law enforcement, police, and fire, and military, and I've been thinking about reaching out to some people that have experienced PTSD, and so I would like to do sort of combine my two loves. One is writing, and my other love is photography and portraits, as you said earlier. So I'd like to kind of meet with these people if they're willing, and just like take their picture in their home, and then kind of explain their story. And then do sort of, I was thinking like a gallery release of all just black and white portraits of these people with their story. And then kind of put it all into a book. Yeah. And then hopefully sell the book to raise funds for like an organization like Wounded Warriors or something like that. And I just, because I think if
it's a thing that you don't know about unless you know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and
like Humans of New York vibe, right? Like, have you seen Humans of New York on Instagram?
I have for sure. Yeah.
So it's a similar idea, but that's a cool idea. Like where you take and put it in a gallery and then a book after too.
I just want to do it because I feel like the more people that have a chance and a platform to tell their story, then it really does. I know it's definitely something we talk about a lot, but it normalizes that people go through rough times. And so I want that to be something that becomes very a part of our conversation and allow people, if they want to kind of tell their story. And so that would be probably a direction that I would head into as well.
That's awesome. No, that's a great
basically
idea.
Ronnie wants to look after your belly. I want to look after you post baby, and you want to look after,
No, that's awesome though. Like honestly, talking about mental health real quick. Just and then I want to come back to your writing for a second. But when you was like, give it 3-4 years ago, mental health was still a topic. Like everybody was talking about it, this and that and everything, but never really. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't like. I'm fucking 23, 24. My only stress in life was, okay, I gotta make sure go to the event, make sure I take care of the client, and that's it. And then on to the next party, right? So it was that, and then slowly you start in getting, you get older, and then that's when it hits you a lot more than
I feel like problems in your life or
sort of yes, more than problem. It's just, I guess one part you start overanalyzing a lot of things because you're an adult now and you have that. But
adult problems.
Part of that is also just generally you start sort of doing a lot of things, comparing your life and see where you're at and what people are saying, and family, everything affects you, right? And you start understanding. I'm like, okay, this is like. There's so many different problems, and for some people it's childhood too, but for me, again, I've had a fairly okay childhood and great childhood. Shouldn't be a problem, but once you become an adult, a lot of these weight sort of starts weighing in on you as an adult in life and everything around it. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, now I understand with the simplest things, right? One day I might have this absolutely off day. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
I got zero motivation to do things, and some days I'm like, what is happening? Like, why am I eating so much pizza and crying? Why am I ordering pizza from Mark's Garage?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's like part of that. You start thinking, and then I feel guilty for not doing any work or being productive about it, and then that also weighs on. Like simple things weighing on you a lot more than I expected. Now imagine having more trauma or anything that coming from other places. And just, I was like, holy cow, this like exponentially gets bigger when people have more issues to deal with in life. And I'm like, I'm here sitting about worrying about why I'm having an off day, right? And then you don't understand. And part of that is it not having mental education about your mental health, right? It's just people need to open themselves up to learn a lot more about it themselves, most probably than anything else. So which is crazy. But
and like honestly, if you think about our industry, if we're talking about that, because I'm sure out of the 3 listeners that we had, just kidding.
6.
We got a 6 right.
But I'm sure there's a few, they're probably like our friends listening to see if we shout them out. No, but it's like, if you're in the whole wedding scene, that's actually, there's a whole sort of dark underbelly of about being a vendor of sorts, because you have to like put on a happy face at all times. Yeah. And I mean, I think
you bring the energy.
Yeah. And so self-care is very important.
Even on days that you might not have it, right?
Yeah.
Like on a Saturday, you're like, I didn't wake up with the right attitude today. Like, but you have to have it.
You got to bring it.
Crazy. I had this conversation with Shane the other day. He came to a wedding that I was shooting because he was actually invited. And before he got drunk, I said, do you like realize like how crazy it is? Like, I don't have time to pee. I got my Red Bull, my coffee, and away I go. Like, I don't stop. And he's like, yeah, I understand that. And I said, do you realize how like I'm just super smiley and running around and everything's fine? Like there's could be like several little fires, but I'm like, nope, just don't let the bride and groom know.
Just come home and collapse after.
I'm like in the corner taping up a bridesmaid's boob, and I'm like, it's great. It's great. But anyway, the whole point of it is, I said, like on my Sundays when I get to be at home, I said, I just want to like sleep in a little bit and come up and get catered to. Just joking.
Yeah. Honestly, like,
no, there's
Sunday mornings.
They call it the wedding hangover. You can be perfectly sober at a wedding, and the next day, like you're
so hungover.
You're done because you're, especially like, I think it's because you're functioning in a state of hypervigilance where you're so actively paying attention because you don't want to miss those moments. No. And so you're constantly looking around. Honestly, and you're trying to catch everything. And
you probably don't even blink because you're like, oh, this person's super smiling and they're about to laugh. Or you're just like eyeing them up through the camera lens like, smile, buddy, smile. Oh,
she's going to cry. She's going to,
let it go.
Yeah, it's a lot. It demands all of you.
It's high. It's a high energy. I can't come in and be like, okay, can you like lean in, give her a kiss, please? Okay, there it is.
See, and that would
can't
never
be like
work,
that.
right?
No.
It's like, and you have to bring it no matter what. And then the Sunday morning though, like honestly,
yeah,
Sunday
I just
morning
like to sit in silence.
Even for an extrovert, like extroverted extrovert, I'm like, I would like 4 hours with no people.
Just
please.
chill. Yeah.
Like, just me. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the thing that's helped me as a photographer, especially at weddings and stuff, is I really try to, and I don't even do it. It's not necessarily intentional, but I'm just drawn to people. And so you just try to connect with them, like even in the talking before the wedding, when you're kind of hearing about the plans and stuff. And it's like, by the time you're at that wedding, if you truly just want to be a part of the moment, then the camera is almost secondary to it. You're just, you like want to see them marry this person that they love. And so it's easy to take those pictures because you're not worried about
the story.
Yeah. You're invested in these people and you don't really care about like posing them a certain way. And like, that's almost like kind of, not the pictures that I gravitate towards either. Like I like it real. Like I love like the father-daughter reveals, like all that stuff. Like I'm a sucker for all that.
That's what I mean. Like when I say, when you look at a Mark Phinney photo, you know it's real. Like it was happening. It was not posed. It was actually happening. And then dude just clicked it and it was just gorgeous like that.
Yeah. And I think some of it's about making people feel comfortable and kind of just being around them. And like, cause I think even, I don't know, if you want to find someone uncomfortable in front of a camera, it's me. Like I hate having my picture. I'll be like,
all three of us are
all three of us,
you know? And so it's like,
about.
I understand that. So I try to just like, hey, I'm just another friend for the day here and be a part of it. And it's cool.
Right. And but leading from there too, like your writing, the first time I see Phinney photos, right? Comes across my Instagram and I click on a photo, beautiful black and white photo. I still remember. I don't know what was in the photo. Like I think it was a bride and the groom or just the bride. Gorgeous shot, black and white. And I click the photo, look at the caption. Dude's written a short novel.
I love it. Yeah.
Right?
I'm extra.
And like he's written a short novel in that caption area. And I'm reading it and it's just like as if I was there. And the reason being, dude just took everything that happened before and after that photo and just also the entire day and summed it up in that caption. And I'm going through this and then now I'm like hooked. I'm going through every photo and every photo has a short novel in this. And I'm going, he's a really good writer. Like I could actually see myself envisioning what this photo was.
Oh,
okay,
thanks,
I do.
Like, no, honestly though, that's
I archived so much of my wedding stuff because I was like, I'm already booked for a couple of years. So I just like, you won't even find my pictures. But yeah, like I've definitely seen some shit, told some stories.
Hey, when I text you, knowing how good of a writer you are, what's it like texting me? Because
sometimes I'm like, this girl's a teacher. First of all,
I know.
It's your with an apostrophe RE. I'm like, who is taking care of our children?
It's so funny. I like literally, I'm starting to a tiny bit get better. But my friend, I'm not joking, like a month ago, was like, Danielle, texting you is like, I feel like I'm texting someone where English is not their first language. She's like, I chalk it up. Like I let my husband read your text message and we try to decipher because like you got random letters.
Dude, honestly, me and Danielle go, I'm a horrible texter. You text me, I reply that text in my head and then I
hear you. Yeah.
To you. Like that's it. Like I reply to your text, we're done. I'm like, I'd never replied back. But honestly, me and Danielle go, when I read Danielle's text, it perfectly makes sense because I'm the same way. I don't care. Like there's no punctuation. Sometimes I just tell Siri, I was like, hey Siri, text Danielle, blah, 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 blah. And then Siri has no punctuations. I'm like, I'm not going to say full stop, period, exclamation point. No, I'm not going to do that. I just stopped
trying to do that on my like Apple Watch. I'm like, ooh, this is not going good for me because you got to actually say period. And
but I actually was standing beside a girl at a wedding and I was kind of joking around with her and she was messaging me something and she showed me this text and she had used the incorrect to. And so I was like, I was giving her a hard time. I was like, hey, you used the wrong to. To me, that's a big deal. And she's like, oh, I did. It's because I'm not a boomer. Sorry. And then I'm like, I just felt so old.
Shit.
I know. I guess I am.
That's so funny. No, I'm
like nobody writes letters anymore.
No, seriously though, like my text messages make no sense. There's a lot of stars and like the right word and then another word, then another word, and then I'm like, actually don't know how to spell. I'm gonna.
You know how my texts are like Silas has seen it too. One sentence pops up, enter. Second sentence pops up.
I do that too.
Enter.
So
Third sentence, enter.
like, ding,
Fourth sentence.
ding,
Like
ding,
and then after I send it, I'm like, wow, I just dinged their phone like 8 times
Oh, yeah, that's how
for
I
one
text.
paragraph I
Yes.
could have sent.
Okay, so my youngest kid, he sees me texting and, he wants to be one of those kind of like cool texting people. And he's got his little iPod where he's got like Messenger Kids.
Yeah.
And he has a similar literacy level as Danielle. And so, no, just kidding.
No, but so true.
So
Not even mad.
he has been sending me messages. And they're decently long messages, but they're actually just purely made from the predictive text in his phone. So they don't even make any sense. So like I'll get these messages, it'll be like, the one yesterday was like, yeah, I don't think I want a new job. LOL, I've got a headache. I'll be home. What do you think when? And then I'm like, what? So I sent him a question mark and he replied, he's like, Snoop Dogg. He just sends whatever the phone, but it's like, he feels like we're having a big talk. So it's cool.
I love it.
Oh, it is so
This is
cute.
Alex, right?
Yeah, that's Alex. Yeah.
I laugh when I'm texting and stuff and I'm like, say as I do, not as like, what is it? What's the phrase? Say as I do, not as I, what? Say as I do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah, something like that. This parenting 101.
So
Yeah.
Kristen, yes. I always call
her
my
Christine.
Well, it's because I always call her Christina,
Yeah.
and then everyone thinks that's her name, but it's Kristen.
So Kristen and you've been married for how long now?
Oh, I married my high school sweetheart.
Nice.
Yeah, we just had our 20th anniversary. Went to. I was gonna say we went to New York,
like
but
8 years older than your anniversary.
I know, dude. I'm old and washed up.
Christ.
Like, you definitely leveled up when he married her.
I leveled up,
her.
and you know what? I knew right from the start that I was playing out of my. I was like, oh, this girl, like I need to lock this down, and yeah, she really has been amazing. Like amazing mom, amazing wife. I'm pretty lucky. I could tell you that much, but
that's cool. No, I feel like Kristen's the responsible one of the relationship, and Phinney's like, I gotta do whatever I want. Yeah, YOLO.
I go on 10 vacations a year.
Yeah, I know.
I love how you're like, oh, I'm going to the mountains, and you're on this big rant to this magical journey you're going on, and then my response is, Kate, where do you get the vacation time?
Exactly. Like this dude is in Florida. Me and Sal was talking about it. He's like driving to Florida one day, and then 2 weeks later he's in the mountains in BC with this kiddo on. I'm like, what is your life, bro?
Yeah.
I know.
He's basically like, I'm living my best life.
Right?
I actually believe that you should try to live your best life. I remember.
I agree. I don't know where I get the time and the money. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to make sure my 8 to 5 works, and then I got a weekend.
I know, dude. Like,
oh, I got a vacation for days.
You've been at it for a while.
I know, and like I was coming back actually from Europe once, and there was a lady. I had talked to her while we were waiting to get on the plane, and she was excited because it was like her first time going to Europe. She waited until she was like probably 80 and almost my age, and then. So anyway, it was kind of interesting, and as the plane, we got stuck in the tarmac. It was super hot. Well, she had like a heart attack, so they had to like call doctors from first class. So that's of course where the doctors were, but they went back and they were helping her and get her off the plane and all this stuff. And I remember thinking like, it's so easy to just wait until later to do the fun stuff that you want to do. So even with kids, like with everything, try to just like follow your passions and get it in. Yeah.
And honestly though, like the past 2 years, me and my best friend were talking the other day, it was just like life, even the past 2 years took 2 years of your time away, right?
Right.
You didn't do nothing, like you just sat at home and
staring at the ceiling.
Right?
Well, I had a crotch goblin, so there's that.
Well, that kept you busy. Like,
shout out to Blakely.
Yeah, shout out to Blakely.
Crotch goblin.
I really want this to be like 10 years, 11 years from now when she's like she understands everything.
Yeah.
I just want her to watch this and it's like, this is what your mom called you when you were 1 year old.
She is going to be, from being raised by Shane and Danielle,
Yeah.
she's going to be a beauty.
I like laugh because like she bit me the other day. I was like trying to like clean off her mouth. It's like, and she wouldn't like go because she growls. And I literally like turned around and like I was, kind of at my wit's end by being like the chomp marks. Like there's marks all over my face. She only beats me up.
1 minute warning.
And I handed her to Shane and I'm like, you know what? Take your sperm pet. Yeah, take your sperm pet.
We had a book, Teeth Are Not for Biting.
Yeah.
We had to,
that one. She don't listen.
no.
She's one. She don't know.
Jesus, I like the photos and the snaps I get from Danielle about Blakely just doing random shit. I'm like, every time I'm like, she's so cute, she's so adorable, like hearts,
Right?
every time. But no, like traveling wise, like I honestly the past 2 years was just like took a lot of time away, and me and Sylvie were thinking too. It was just like you gotta like start traveling. And two things that I definitely think people like takes them out of their comfort zone and definitely they learn a lot is traveling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And second thing is food. Like honestly, those two things will
basically you want to follow the food. Gotcha.
follow the food and that'll take you to the places. But no, it's like traveling brings another level of, I guess,
appreciation for
appreciation for life and the world we will live in. We got like I've read this so many times. We've got one planet, right? And
one planet, one life.
And we get to sort of see all of that and go and in the end, like when you're about to die, you're like, you know what? I had a good life. It's not about it's only about two things: the people you met and the places you went, and that's what you're gonna love and remember.
And and I think like even me being my age and being a mom, like the material things just don't matter.
No.
It's not what you
having
have.
a child really puts stuff into priority.
Crazy.
And you know what? I understand, like if you have a little Blakely at home and stuff, it's like you're probably not going to get to travel and do the stuff that you want to totally do. That's the reality of having kids, but you just it'll come. Like I actually remember my really good friend, we used to bike at the Brandon Hills like 3 times a week, and when I told him we were having a kid, he was like, "Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats. I'll see you in 4 to 6 years." And I remember kind of thinking, "Oh no, like I'll make it work." Like, and honestly, I saw him 4 to 6 years later, because you're in the trenches right now. You're changing diapers. You're covered in fluids.
And you know what though? It's that time where all of a sudden, well, she wasn't walking last week, but now she's fluent. If you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember thinking that you had a baby for like a year, but no, it's like months. And then all of a sudden they're running around and
like, honestly, like the amount of couples I've been through, like, again, we follow pretty much every couple on socials, and I see the progression, right? Like I've seen it so long. Like I've known people, like funny enough, like I'll bring up McClellan and Brittany and Ryan, like they live in Rivers, and I did their wedding and I did their wedding in Legion. It feels like yesterday. Now they have Brock, and then they have another kid.
Yeah, I did her bump pictures.
Right, like it's like I've seen them grow, and then now all of a sudden they have a 4-year-old or 3-year-old or 4-year-old, and then what, like few months old. Like life just goes so fast.
If you blink, it's gone.
And especially I see people too. Like day to day, it feels like years, but I guess like once the kid comes out, it's just like, oh my god, you.
If I know like a kid puts a timestamp on life.
Yeah. It does.
Because it's like a year and you're like, whoa, like you actually have to look at the time.
And like one thing, to kind of talk about content creation, video, photography and stuff, it's like that is something that people oftentimes really underestimate, is the value of photographing your family. And even, Danielle, you're the same as me. Like you and I have been the ones to take pictures of our family, so we're not in the pictures. So it's like if you look through family albums at my house, it looks like my wife's a single mom. And so it's like
Shane looks like number one dad,
always spending.
Yeah. So, do you know how many costumes? Like I set him up for success for these photo shoots.
Right. He's a good sport too, I'm sure. But it's like I think that it's actually important for photographers to put the camera down and to call up your friend or call and be like, "Hey Danielle, can you get?" I've had Tara Stokes. She's taking pictures of our family, and they're some of our most cherished man, and like people like that. It's like hit them up and like it's awesome, kind of having those memories.
No, honestly though, like
I did it today and just doing mommy and me pictures and stuff. 100%. And I was like, "Can I show your photo?" Oh yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Here we go.
So here's a photo of
this is Shane and Blakely.
Oh my god! Look at that.
Look at the stuff that I do. Do you have the Santa picture?
You're like that, mom.
Yeah. So right there you go. So that's Shane as Santa. And that's Blakely. So we do
people
who
are listening
seasons.
again. You got to go to Danielle Palatic.
Yeah.
Danielle.Palatic on Instagram, and you'll see the photos.
So anyway, I set these two up for success. Like he looks like the best dad, right? Keep going down there. Like look at, they're all shots. Oh yeah, that was her. Yeah, they like have these crazy moments, but it's because of me. Yeah, you go like, see what I mean?
It's
but
like,
you're gonna love those.
Like, where were you doing these photos? I'm like, I was the one taking the photos, honey.
Exactly. Thank you.
Right?
These like precious moments captured. Where am I?
And do it now, because if like my kids were the most photographed kids on planet Earth, just like Blakely will be. But I'll tell you what, do it now, because they're gonna get to the point, if they're anything like my kid, well, they're just like, As soon as they see a camera, they're like, nope, I don't want my picture taken.
I'm out.
Especially my little guys.
Well,
they're over it.
It's crazy. I know maybe me versus you or maybe not, but when I'm sitting there and today, like I wasn't feeling my best, went to get these photos done, it was like half an eyelash was falling off and like I had bite marks all over me. I didn't lose the baby weight. I could come up with a million excuses not to be in the photo.
Right.
A million excuses not to be in the photo. But guess what? To Blakely doesn't care. Like I have never once looked at my mom and thought that she did not look amazing.
Right.
I've never not once looked at her and thought she was too much weight or ugly or this. And she's not in any of our photos. So you think about that. It's like, well, who is this for? It's for her eventually and me. And like, yeah, just you got to set yourself aside, get out of your head and just be in the photo.
And this applies to all the parents who now have their phones and they take a million photos of your kids.
Print them off, save them.
Trust me, print them off and also be in the photo. Like try to get in the photo and try to do it the other way too. And also just schedule a damn family session at once in a while. Just get in front of a camera and this is not, you're not doing this for you. You do this for the
I had a bit of a profound moment, if you will. I really, it's a very vivid memory. My mom, she, I think as a lot of new moms are, riddled with insecurities and you feel like you're not as beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And so she was one that would just hide from cameras. I still do.
Yeah, today was like a moment.
Yeah, and like so that was my mom. So there isn't a lot of pictures of her with, my twin brother and I when she was, a young mom. And she had convinced herself that she wasn't beautiful enough to be photographed and all of that. And you know what? I think a lot of people do that. I know we all probably have done it. But anyway, fast forward years later, my mom was looking at a photo album and she found this picture that was probably 20 years old. And it was of her, with her babies and this long, beautiful hair. And I remember her realizing for the first time just how beautiful she was. And she did not believe it. Back then, she had told herself she wasn't beautiful. And then as you get older, you look back and you're like, I was so beautiful and I ran from cameras. And so I think take the picture. You know what?
Giving me the feels.
Yeah. It's like we all want to think that I'm not worthy or whatever. I didn't lose the baby weight or all these. It's like, no, take the picture. You are far more beautiful than you realize.
Damn photo.
Just not mine. I get it too.
No, honestly though, I can't even imagine. Just people think about them now, right? It's short term. Like, oh, I don't look good now. I don't look good now. Like 10 years from now, you're not even going to remember what you look like. No, trust me, you're going to be like, holy shit, I look like that.
Yeah, it's all downhill. This is as good as it gets, guys. Like, jump on it.
Because your insecurity makes you not take it. And then you realize it didn't matter, right?
You know what's funny? It's like crazy and like trying to do that with like social media in general, like when you take family photos and stuff, and I just say this is how it was in this moment with the kid running around, not listening, eating snacks in the background, the mom dying laughing. I'm like, that is a screenshot of what it was like.
Yeah.
Sometimes
so don't clean the house, just take the picture.
That's what it was like. It's the moment. Absolutely.
And again, this is coming from two photographers telling you to take the damn photo. So
exactly.
But no, talking about it too, like I don't have a photo of me as a kid. Like as a baby, no photos. The first photo of me that I have as a kid is when I'm almost 2 years old.
Why is that?
That was because
no, Ronnie was an ugly kid. Like
this is wondering.
Yeah, like I would like
I can't take
it. Doesn't apply to everybody.
You have no idea.
Just kidding.
Just joking.
No, honestly though, like, well, first, mom and dad didn't have a single penny to go pay for cameras or studio. Like, so they did go to a studio. So they did go to a studio, put me there, and take photos when I was well, I think it was like 9-10 months old.
Yeah,
they took the photo. They're like, my dad's struggling and they're just a new couple at that point, and money was hard, so they're like, okay, we'll keep the photo, we'll come and pay for it and buy it. So about 6 months later, dad's driving to go to the studio wherever they took the photo. It's a Key West studio. Imagine Key West studio. That was it. So dad's going to take the photo, go get the photo. and the studio moved. So, and then he narrowed down where the studio was. He walks in there, and then 2 hours later, they can't find the film.
Oh,
So like there goes the baby photos. Again, this is back in the day. Now everybody's got a cell phone that is way better than anything else was. But you know, like my mom still honestly is like, I don't have a single picture of you as a baby. And that's the thing, right? Like that's never gonna happen. So, but the importance of photo, because my mom still worries about that she doesn't have a baby photo. I'm telling you, photos are important. But most of all, put yourself in the photos too. So,
and you know what? There's something to be said. Like these cameras on our phones are oftentimes unreal.
Yeah.
You can shoot 4K video off an iPhone 10.
like
It's crazy, but everything kind of goes to die to social media. Like, you know, you can take this beautiful picture that you put so much effort in, and it's like, move on to the next one. There's 10 other photographers. If it really feels like that, it feels very disposable.
Yeah.
And so you don't let the pictures die on your phone. Print them off, find a printer, make albums.
You know what I've been doing? Like just looking at what you've been kind of doing with your social media with your boys, and just, you know, running our friendship and stuff with the video. Like I've been taking little home videos and I've been saving them and putting them into a folder.
I do the same thing.
I only just started doing that, and I'm like, oh, I have some regrets.
I do that with Loki. So
yeah, there you go.
Your son. Yeah, no, I love that. And like, I don't know, video is so fun.
It is like there's more things. Like, you know, she's like picking Shane's nose. I'm like, I got it on video.
It's emotion and context and
the sounds
and just all of that, right?
You guys, that's funny. We're in the industry of memory making.
Right? Or capturing memories and saving them.
And that's what I'm
archivists.
Like, from babies all the way till the day you die. Like there's photos of everything, and every photo can be.
You know what's crazy is here I am. Shane's grandma is actually looking after B right now, and she was showing me her baby photos, and I thought that was great. So I have sending them to Shane, like taking pictures of them. So
you know, when I was warning you, Danielle, that you should take pictures of Blakely now because she's going to go through a period where she's like, okay, enough with the photos, Mom. Mm-hmm. It goes full circle. Just the other day, for the first time ever, Josh was like, hey, Dad, can I get a profile picture for my Facebook kids? And it's like,
yes,
you know, so it's like,
I remember the post.
Yeah, so he's all,
you're not gonna believe what good of a photographer your dad is. When you get to the age of dating, those Tinder photos are gonna look fire.
Dude, that's a market. I actually know. I've thought about it. Like, leave the wedding industry, just take Tinder pics for dudes, because all these guys are like,
girls do it,
right? These guys are holding up fish and it's not working.
No,
you know,
let me post.
Hey, sorry, Silas, but it's like it's not working.
Silas feels personally offended.
Silas, let me take some fire pictures of you, and we'll help you out.
Silas, even though you think that bass you got is as cool as you think it is not.
That is so funny.
Can I tell him Silas' story?
You do it.
Okay. Cut. I don't know if this is appropriate. It's like I was driving with Silas. He was he was doing video, and I was and you know, getting to know him a little bit, and I was like, so Silas, what's the deal, man? You got a girlfriend or anything like that? And then he just looked at me, and I don't know if you remember what you said, Silas, but he was like, I couldn't get laid in a women's penitentiary with a fistful of pardons. And I was like, all right, I get it. And you know what, ladies, Silas he's a sleeper. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
dude, are you kidding me? We went to a social with a friend. For a social we have no idea about. Literally 3 girls around him is like, why isn't your friend dancing? And they pulled him outside. And then I'm like, where's Silas? Oh, he's gone. Like, I don't know where he is.
I think it's a him problem because I've had some friends meet him too, and he was like, oh, is that like it's a him problem? Like it's in his head.
Silas? Oh, so you're like, oh, I know how good looking I am. I just play it cool.
Yeah.
That's a me problem.
Like, oh, that makes me laugh. Or okay, I gotta tell a story. Going into shooting boudoir on group chat, that was the best thing I ever seen. So he goes, I'm like, yeah, it'll be your best day, boys. Like you're welcome. Like, hey, show up at this time. And Silas kicks in. He goes, well, yeah, I'm excited. I've only ever seen 1.5 girls naked. And then Ronnie's like, I'm sitting there reading that. I'm like rereading it. Ronnie immediately replies, where's the half come from? Oh, I love it. Sorry, I had to tell that story.
No, honestly, like Silas was very terrified of getting into the boudoir boudoir industry, but now he's after the day he was like, you know what, it was not as bad as I thought it was. It was actually fun. So
I've shot some boudoir before, and it is a different vibe. It's not the fantasy people imagine.
No.
Like it's almost like a very sterile, like
anything. And I can imagine being there just watching these two work. I can only imagine like it's a lot more, in a sense, you got to pull out your artistic side from random places just so it conveys what you have in your head through your camera to the computer, and the photo comes out. Like it's got a lot more effort that goes into it than what you think it is.
Yeah.
One of the best boudoir photographers, in my opinion, and this is shared by many people, is actually Silas. No, just kidding. It's Terry Hofford in Winnipeg.
You introduced me to her.
Same. I'm like, he was like, look at Terry's stuff.
Yeah, I've actually been to her studio, and I've done some. I did a workshop, and I got to know her.
I got laid down on her couch.
Yeah, and like one thing about Terry,
there's boudoir photos of Mark Phinney somewhere.
There's definitely
whacking this. This is where I thought the story was going.
No, but it's like one thing with Terry, and it kind of goes back to kind of build on what we were talking about earlier. She's all about just, as you said, Ronnie, take the damn picture. Mm-hmm. Like embrace your skin, and like when I spent time with Terry, I remember like I'm riddled with my own insecurities, as is probably a lot of people. She makes you feel so comfortable because she's like, I remember she like grabbed her stomach and she was like, wow, I have a tummy. Guess what? We all do. And you're just kind of like, yeah. And you stop like putting yourself on this, holding yourself to this unideal standard of beauty that you can't attain, and it's like you kind of just go, hey, like I'm gonna capture these moments as I'm in this state, and Terry's an interesting person because
I remember you sending how long ago did I tell you I wanted to do boudoir? And
probably years ago,
and what did you sent me to follow her? Like
Terry is like the guru in my opinion, like just and it's more about her vibe, it's more about her mentality and like how she makes people feel. Yeah, you just and like you spend time with her and you feel like, oh, I'm cool doing this.
Looking
like
at her stories on Instagram, I'm like, this girl is badass. Like, you could
she's
feel
badass.
The vibe.
Shout out to Terry.
Well, did she write a book too?
Yeah, she's written a book. She's done. She's actually, I think she's working.
Hartford.
Yeah, Hofford. She
Terri.
Yeah, she's actually moving away from doing photography and moving into becoming like an educator, a bit about body positivity and all that. I think
she'd be like, okay, pull up one of her images.
Is it this? Yeah,
that's Terry.
Like Lizzo vibes. That's what I get.
She's doing a lot of like 100%. Selfie stuff right now because she's writing and she's like
she's probably using her content.
Yeah, and I think she's like kind of moving into a different stage in her photography of becoming more of a mentor of sorts.
No, I love that. Okay, one of my favorite photos right there, the one right in the middle. This one, go down. Yeah. Like nobody would ever look good in that pose, and she's doing it. No, go up. Yeah. Like which girl looks good in that pose? But she's doing it anyway, and I love it.
And like that, and like Terry's a whole vibe. Like if you're gonna do boudoir, I think to have that, if it comes natural to you,
she's got a Lizzo photo on it. That's so funny.
I love it.
And one thing about Terry, and not just Terry, I believe any photographer, if you're good, you can take anyone, and you can capture their like. I should do this as a challenge.
Yeah.
I should take some Tinder pictures for Silas and I will capture his true ruddy masculine essence.
Okay.
In a photo.
Absolutely.
I think he's available this week.
Yeah. I'm thinking Silas, we need to pull up a picture of Silas. I think Silas, we do the overalls with like the one down.
Suspenders?
Yeah. Just one down.
One down. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Can we get this?
Yeah. Let's make this happen.
Studio happen.
I literally will just sit for the first time silently in the background and not direct everything just to be a part of this.
I love it. We're back from our sponsor break from absolutely no one.
Oh, Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
Mountain Water.
Mountain Water, Liquid Death, sponsor us. No, it is we were talking about Terry Horford and her boudoir stuff and then technical difficulties, but we're back again. most of that will be put together, so we don't have to go back. But what we were saying about Silas was Mark Phinney wanted to
do boudoir.
Yeah, like let's capture the essence of Silas, you know. So,
I think you wanted to get him a Tinder profile or something.
Tinder profile, yeah.
how come as soon as I started pressuring Silas to take boudoir photos, he immediately
cut off the camera?
He said, "Oh, technical, everything's shut down," and I get it.
We're done with this.
Okay, yeah. So,
I'll just let you guys know, every single girl I've ever talked to about my Tinder has said my fires are or my photos are fine.
So what
My fires
Silas
is
just said
inspirational.
was every single Tinder girl he's ever talked to said his fires are absolutely photo. Or he meant photos are absolutely fire. So,
Making disabilities about my fun.
but that being said, like, what is on the horizon for Mr. Phinney? How does 2022 summer look? How does 2023 summer look? As in a wedding, well, one on a wedding photography level, another on a life level, because
that's I'm trying to restore that elusive work-life balance.
Danielle googling the word elusive.
Elusive. Basically,
that's the word of the day.
I've had some summers that they're pretty packed, and you know, you're spending a lot of weekends on the road and different things like that. So I'm trying to scale back, and I know when Danielle was talking about how life moves pretty fast when you have a little kid. I'm very aware of that, and I don't want to have dad guilt and miss my kids on weekends and stuff. So I'm trying to pull back from weddings and stuff. I have a few kind of booked already for this year and next, and I think that's going to be it. I'm going to reevaluate, maybe squeeze in some destination weddings here and there, but
travel for free, essentially.
Yeah, right.
Use up the vacation time you have.
The amount of times him and Christine have been to the destinations I've seen: New York, Italy. Times that,
you gotta just hook me up. Like, my dream is eventually retired, just based on, like, I just want to do the travel destination. Not there yet, looking for it.
I kind of feel like I had a moment once where I possibly could have went a totally different direction with my life in terms of pursuing wedding photography at a bigger level. It was there was a boutique hotel called Arlo in New York, and they have their own sort of in-house wedding planning business. And I met with the wedding planner. And, you know, she was a cool girl. We kind of vibed, and she wanted me to become their New York photographer. And I love New York. And I definitely spent some time kind of thinking, like, man, should I just drop it all, like a career that I've invested a lot of time in at, you know, and I have a government job, and I've been there for a long time. And it was like, do I just leave it all and go? And maybe it'll be a regret, but I don't know. I think going back to what Danielle said about when you sort of monetize and become financially interested in a passion of photography, then it can really kind of kill it, and it really can become a job. And so I didn't really want that to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a fine line, like, of doing it full time and doing it part time. I don't know, it takes a certain person, and like, maybe I'll be that person shortly, maybe I won't, I don't know. But it's like, I don't want to get into it and lose what I love about it.
Right. I think honestly that applies to pretty much any job too, but especially us as creatives too, in a sense, when you fell into something because you loved it, and then now it became something that, you know, financially is actually making it happen for you. Then you're in the crossroads of, do I do this full time enough to make this a full time living, and will I still enjoy it as what I'm doing, or am I gonna get into this full time and then start regretting not having a life outside of it? Right?
Yeah, like, because
your initial way you fell into it was you could just escape into it before with your regular life, but then the escape became the regular life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it becomes like this dance between trying to capture the moment and then all the other stuff that goes along with photography. And it's not just, you know, walking around taking pictures, and it's like there's editing, and there's meeting with clients, and there's dealing with different, you know,
and all types of types,
and that's also part of the problem with creatives, right? We like one thing. We like taking photos and editing it.
Yeah, exactly. Not the
admin
marketing
stuff, not the customer service stuff. That is all just an extra headache. No, you have to deal with. You don't like those, right?
Man, I've done some like, in terms of, when you talk about the whole business side of things, I've taken chances on people that are insane. I've literally Well, like I've flown to Italy without even a deposit, not even really, you're not even really knowing the people that well, or like say, like I've done some crazy things where you just like book a plane ticket and you show up and you take their wedding, and then it's like,
Hopefully they pay me.
yeah, you're like, there's probably something you're supposed to do to make sure this is, there's going to be a hotel waiting for me, but I just kind of like figure, hey, these clients need a photographer. So,
I'm good to go.
yeah.
I roll that way too.
Yeah. It's never really burned me or anything, but yeah, sometimes you just kind of take a chance. And that's an interesting thing, because like photography is more than a business, right? Like it's a different type of beast in itself. Like it's a very intimate, personal, kind of client-centered experience, I guess, if I could try to describe it. But it's less about, hitting markets and
sales targets and
all that. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but like when I shop or, go get my hair done or do anything or buy anything local or whatever, I am so drawn to the people that loved their craft.
Yeah.
That love it. I'm drawn to that. So, and
that passion is very contagious.
Yes. Yeah. Like, so if you go to a nail girl that just like is crazy and just, don't want her crazy nails. And I know she's so capable of giving me whatever, but I just love like how much they love to do what they do. And I always seek those people out. And that's where I want to, where I want to give my business. And I feel like I'm also that way. So the day that I'm not
client too, right?
Then I won't want to be there. And that scares me.
Clients looking at you the same way, right?
Yeah.
They look at Danielle and they see the passion that you have for photography, and then they look at it and they go, I want Danielle to be my photographer. But then at some point, as a photographer of you, who you are as a person and a human being, at some point you're gonna burn out, or not burn out. I guess your passion is not as bright as it was, because
you have to protect it. You have to protect it. You have to make sure you're not burning yourself out. The
client still thinks you're great, but inside you're like, you have that conflict within yourself. I'm like, I'm not, and that also kills you, because I'm not as good as I was, and I want to be there, but
or not client, even like I'm,
you're putting in the effort, right?
Well, I just want to, I think like even moving forward in the stuff that you and I have talked about, it's like, it sounds ridiculous, but like you do have to choose your client, because if you're not there for them, or you're not enjoying it, or your vision's not their vision, it will kill you faster than anything else in that line of business or that line of work when it comes to being a creative. So, but if you like if I'm really into the party scenes, the smiles, the candids, the people that just like do, let's jump in the river, let's run across the field, like, oh, it's just a dress, I only wear it once, and like I don't care if I get a little bit of it dirty. Those are my clientele. But if they look at me and said, what? I don't want to move. Like we're no, just right here. That's not for me.
Right.
Like I don't feel like I'll do a good job for them. And not because I don't want to. It's just that's not who I am.
The main criteria of when we say why we choose our clients and why our clients have to choose based on who their style is purely that, right? And then one of the core things is because this is an art form that we got in because we are passionate and we love it.
Yeah.
But the moment we do something that we don't like within it, we will start hating it more than anything else. Yeah. Because that's not why you got in, right? Yep. And then, so that's why we keep saying when we pick our clients and when we pick our time with every client we work with, is because they're going to fuel us to give them the best work of ours as possible.
And I remember, and I mean, I hope it's appropriate, I tell a story. You told me that, like you have this family, it's not your first job. You do whatever it is that you want to do with photography and you live your best life. And you said someone was giving you heck about not doing their photos, and they went after you about it a bit.
Yeah. And you know what? Nobody really knew that it was me that, so here's what happened. A girl had asked me to take pictures of her and her daughter, and she wanted to do kind of like a theme, like a fairy theme. Like I think they're gonna wear like fairy wings or something like that. And you know what? Sometimes you can pull off those sorts of shoots if that's what you're into, but I just knew it wasn't my jam, you know? And it's like, because this isn't, a way that I really provide for my family or anything like that, I didn't feel super pressured to say yes to it. And so I remember like trying to point her in a direction of someone else. And and that I thought would be good at that kind of jam. Because like, just because you're good at baby photos or wedding photos or family photos, it's not all transfer.
It's not the same. No.
And so then I remember this person had just kind of written this thing about how this photographer stood her up and wouldn't do it and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of knew it was me. And it was like, but at the end of the day, I guess, you're not someone's, like, you have to be true to yourself.
Did you email her back and say, this is my hobby or something like that?
Yeah, I kind of messaged her back, and I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but it was like, if that's not your jam and you don't think that you can do a good job of it, and you're going to be doing it sort of like begrudgingly or kind of like force it because again, you're not into like that sort of style or whatever, as beautiful as it may be, if it's not your jam, you're going to be doing it from an inauthentic place, and it's going to show through in your images, and you're just not going to be feeling it. So
and you just don't want to do it.
No, so like find someone else. Like
disservice to you as a creative, and you're doing disservice to your client as well.
Yeah.
Right?
So after you told me that story, I don't even know how it came up. I had not the exact same experience, but as someone was emailing me right after I'd be, and like I was just doing the work that I had already been pre-committed to before I was pregnant, and she said, "Okay, what's your next 3 months availability?" Like, and we're emailing back and forth or whatever. And I just said, sorry, I don't have any, and then way professional in more terms. And then she emailed back, like it was an aggressive message. And it was like, what do you mean you don't have any? Surely you have one night off. And then I actually emailed her back. I'm like, well, I have a 3-month-old baby. My partner works away 11 days out of the week and home for 3. And I'm already committed to a bunch of stuff. So no, I'm not taking on more right now. She immediately emailed back and said, I'm very sorry. I also have a 3-month-old baby. I apologize. And it was crazy to think, like, I don't know where I'm going with this point, but
I guess it's easy for people to think that we're just because we're passionate about something, we'll just drop everything and then do it for them, right? Because that's how we, I guess, in a sense, when people see us passionate about something, they will do anything to do what they love.
Like artists, like a starving artist almost.
Really, because there's so much around it that affects what we do and how we do it.
We
and
might
how
have when
good
we first started off.
Yeah, and like honestly, I don't want to come across like a diva. Like, you can show me your Pinterest board and like I'm down to like capture whatever pictures you want or whatever. But at the same time, you have to be true to who you are, because as soon as you sort of depart from what makes you excited to take the pictures in the first or whatever, as soon as you're totally doing something you're not into, I don't know, they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I know.
Danielle always wants to take like those heart pictures, and it's like, that's not my jam, like let's do it, Danielle.
Yeah, and then that's not saying like, you're nearing the end of the shoot and you say, hey, is there anything that I didn't capture that you had in your mind? They go, no, we're okay. And then they say, yeah, actually, I have this really silly photo, but we want to reenact that. I'm like, yes, absolutely. That's not that. Don't stop that.
No,
but don't bring like multiple picture frames to your shoot and want to hold them and stand in a field.
Right.
And I guess like you have to be gracious to the people. Like, obviously they're the ones hiring you. And so you want to basically honor their wishes.
Yeah, no.
But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure on a lot of these brides, and they want to have certain images and they want to have a certain look and sneak peeks and all that. But it's a give and take in the relationship, in the sense that you also need them to understand that sometimes the best way to get the best out of me or you or Danielle is like, kind of just let us do our thing.
Right.
It's going to come natural to us. This is, and
have you had too much of that? I don't think I have.
I've been so lucky. Like, I love every single bride I've ever had. They're fantastic. I've been very lucky though.
Like, honestly, I'm also feeling quite blessed. I feel like when we talk about this, just the people that we didn't shoot, where it was like, what, right off the bat. So, I mean, I don't want any of my brides sitting back there thinking like, oh, well,
who are they talking about?
Yeah, no, nobody. I have no one to really point out and do.
No, but honestly though, like it's a fine line that we have to walk as creatives too. It's just in a sense what we take, how we work, how we deliver the product, how we carry ourselves doing that, and how we also at the same time check off the wishes of the client.
Do you think it's how line. Like every sport, like if you're a cowboy, there's a certain stigma about you. If you're a hockey player, if you're a tennis player, you're a soccer player,
stereotypes.
us being like in video and photographer, I think there's a stereotype too. And for me, I'm fragile. I'm either like, I'm super proud of this. What do people think? They don't like it. Like super proud of this. What do people think? Like
it's always
like
it's a ping pong game pretty much, right? So it's just sometimes you're like, perfect, I nailed that wedding. Sometimes I'm like, well, I could have done this. I could have done that. I could have done this.
Oh, I didn't like this, or I could have,
I think a good way to stay focused in anything that you do is just to revisit your reason why you do it, whether it's photography or just whatever you're passionate about, whether you're trying to do a triathlon or whatever. Always revisit your why. And if you don't have a why and you don't understand, what's driving me to want to be a part of this, then spend some time thinking about that. And for me, in photography, it's about honoring the fact that someone wants me to be a part of their day and feeling like if this is something that I always imagine people are going to look back at these pictures, and I chase that moment that I talked about with my mom, where I saw, 20 years later when she realized how beautiful she was. I really romanticize the notion that someday these people 20 years from now, they're going to look back and they're going to open up that wedding album and they're going to see this young in love couple and they'll just revisit that moment, and you got to be a part of that, and it's cool. And I can tell you, my wife and I we dust off the 20-year-old wedding album and we look at it, and everyone talks about how Kristen still looks the same and how I'm unrecognizably old and gross now. But it's like, it's fun though. It's fun for the kids to be like, Dad, why are you bald? Or you know what I mean? And it's it's cool to have those moments and to go back. And so to think that we've kind of been able to leave our fingerprint on all these people's special moments, and it's pretty incredible. You know what? But like talking about that, went into a new house build the other day just to check it out because we're building a house, and there it was, my pictures I took and were on the wall. It kind of it hits you. Yeah, and to think that like you have played a part, you've been given a front row ticket to some of the most private and intimate and beautiful moments of people's lives. That's true. You're so much better at putting things. Like I'd like to talk like you, but I just don't. Like the hillbilly comes out. We put Sky commas after you and Sky comma RE. Yeah. No, this has been great though. No, like it kind of covered being creative. Talked about what would we that song like what would we be doing if we weren't doing this, right? We talked about Mark's garage pizza. Garage pizza coming at you live. Coming to a door next to you very soon. We're working on marketing as we speak. Yeah. We talked about Silas's sexy headshots. Yeah. Tinder. Silas's Tinder profile. Look at that, Mark. Hold on. Pull it up. Oh. Hey, do you know what? That's easy. That is wait. Circa. What is this? This is my first ever Instagram photo. Oh my god! 2012. So let's go. I'm gonna tell you a quick story about this photo. Look at that jawline. Yeah, what happened? Look at that jawline still. What are you talking about? So that was my first ever picture. My sister-in-law was the one that basically forced me to start my own Instagram because I didn't even really know what it was or care about it. And I remember, so my sister-in-law knows that I tend to go overboard with things. I can't just do anything kind of half-ass. I go all in. And so I remember when she basically started my Instagram. Right. And I remember I said to her, hey, don't let me become one of those Mark Phinney photography type people. And it is exactly what happened. Oh, what else do we got on there? Go back. These are the old. Click on it. I love it. Don't you dare touch these. Go to next. Okay, go down. What's that? That's Hawaii. Photoshop shark in the background there. Oh my gosh, is it that? I didn't even see that. I was too busy looking at the hair. Oh, scroll up. I want to see more. Okay. I'm awful. I don't. Oh, that was. Let's throw in some filters. Yeah, that was back. Dude, Instagram filters. 475 weeks ago. No, that's like 379 weeks. Oh no, 379 weeks ago. That's Show us more. This is addicting. I don't want anyone to do this to me, but I'm having fun. Wait. Scroll down. Don't go so fast.
Oh, she's pregnant in that one photo.
Holy cow. Scroll up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That it's a pretty personal picture, but if you go, there's a picture of my brother. It's one of the only pictures out there of him. I saw that too. Down.
Yeah, it's with the horse.
With the horse, yeah. And you have a twin. He was a twin. Jesus. Yeah. Look alike.
Yeah.
You look alike, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that photo before. Keep going. That one.
Wait. That bike. I see that bike hanging in his garage. Look at that.
Yeah, man. My triathlon day is crazy.
Those
For people listening, you got to jump on YouTube right now to watch that.
White sunglasses. That's where it's at.
Superman.
Down with the nose.
No, one more.
I want to see if he's got hair in there. Okay. There it is.
I still have the same amount of hair. Still the same amount of hair.
See, those are my favorite types of photos.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just now, okay, let's keep going up.
And now here I am taking profile pictures for my kid.
Yeah.
Dude,
is that wild?
Family
photo.
camera.
Family photo.
Family photo.
Go over it. Where's the hair in that one? Oh, okay. It came on.
Oh my God. Alex, how old is Alex?
I don't know, man. This is a trip.
He's like, what is happening?
You know what? I remember Instagram when it first was kind of a thing. It was it was an exciting way to connect with people from literally all over the world.
Right.
I still have friends that.
Hey.
There it is. That's what you usually look like.
Yeah.
Amish. That is an Amish.
Silas, take me to your people, bro. I know.
He's not Amish.
This is suspenders, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a trip.
Look at that little profile picture up there.
That was this was
Moldery.
actually this was the first photo I saw of Phinney. This is how Phinney looks.
Oh, and I don't.
It literally looks like Jason Statham's brother.
Yeah,
what are you talking
you
about?
What happened? What happened?
Now he looks like Aquaman's brother.
I was talking Aquaman, but this is some Jason. Yeah,
but both Jasons
changed. Okay, keep going.
It's actually honestly,
This is
man,
really good.
It brings back some happy old memories.
going.
You know,
Look at that. Oh, I love it.
I did a lot of.
Yes, that one.
Hey,
I used to be a big yoga
cute.
guy back in the day. Did lots. I'm just kind of getting back into it.
Look at those muscles.
I know.
Jeez.
There's muscles in places I didn't know you could have muscles.
Yeah.
Some more, yeah. That was a girl's grad picture. She's getting married this year.
Where? Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Where was your first wedding photo still there? It's not here.
I think I archived so much stuff, wedding stuff. I just kind of
That's not it.
That's
no,
not,
but yeah, I just kind of archived a lot of stuff. I was getting, I don't know.
Yeah, but no, that's awesome.
Hey, see the one with my kid wearing that horse thing or whatever? That was on the old Keep Calm and Chive On or whatever.
Yeah.
And it got featured, but yeah, that was hilarious.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Trip down memory lane. It was good to see you guys today.
Thanks for coming by. Thanks for chatting up and getting the very finale of For the Record podcast season 1.
Yeah.
And we ended it. I think it was a good. Again, I don't know. I'm not sure if we're gonna split it into 3 different podcasts.
We talked
kept talking for an hour and a half.
Oh jeez.
But I think I might just put it into one big podcast and make it happen. But yeah,
man, and it has been it is good to see you guys. I mean, I love both of you, and I certainly have lots of history with you guys, and so it is my pleasure and honor to be a part of this exciting thing that you guys are doing here.
Oh well,
we still don't really know what it
for
is.
The 6 people listening.
Whatever it turns into.
This might be more for us than anything else. This is for the history books.
Yeah.
And Phinney is this popular photographer, and he's traveling the world doing crazy photography.
We knew him when.
Yeah, he was on our podcast, guys. But no, thanks for coming. For people listening, thanks for listening for a whole 12 episodes of For the Record podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I don't know when we will be back, but I want to say first week of September. But I'm not gonna hold to it. We'll see, possibly. But we want to come back.
Month of the entire summer.
But we possibly might. Hey, Danielle.
Yeah, we'll see in and around.
And talk some war stories of what 2022 summer was.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get through those, and we'll come back with. I got a couple ideas, just more guests possibly. So will be cool.
Get the A-lister Mark Willis on here.
That's a goal. That's a goal. We're gonna. We might. He was supposed to pay us for the amount of time.
Dude, we talked about Terry Hofford so much.
Yeah.
You know what?
She could come.
Bring her in.
We'll put her on a Zoom call too. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, again, I just want to. This we started because we want to help couples in planning and how to choose vendors.
Like I said, it was like a wedding guide that we just were too lazy to make.
But think about the amount of things we talked about just from a client perspective, how to choose a vendor, like from a photographer to what is important. So if you've listened to all the way this hour and a half
We're proud
podcast,
of
thank you.
you,
But
yeah.
now we're calling it on the end of season 1. And thank you for listening.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you.
coming, Finney. We'll see
pleasure.
you guys on the other side.
Sounds like death. Cheers.
Liquid.
All right. Good night. Take care. XOXO Gossip Girl.